Hey, thanks for clicking on the video. Today we're taking a look at all things regarding the new exotic mission, Helio and the new exotic weapon, Wolfsbane. After nearly 10 years, we finally have the exotic axe that we have all been asking for. And it works very interestingly with selectable perks and catalysts that might actually make it a pretty good option once you get it fully upgraded. If you want to know more about the exotic itself, I'll have an upcoming review video. But today is going to be going over how to get this exotic yourself and then how to find the upgrades for it that are available at the time of recording. That means the intrinsics and the catalysts. If you're watching this in the future, check the comment section where my pinned comment will let you know if everything is available and if I have a video covering all of the secrets, as like I said, some of it is time gated. Also, while we're here, before we do get into the guide portion, if you enjoy this type of content, you like staying informed on Destiny 2, then a sub would be greatly appreciated. I stream and I make videos to hopefully keep you guys up to date. But now, finally getting into the actual guide itself, the first thing to do is launch the mission. And there is no quest prerequisite, there's no story needed. All you need to do is go into the Pinnacle Ops section and click on the newly added Helio mission. For your first time through, the guaranteed reward is the exotic itself in its base form. So let's go over how to beat this mission now. Upon loading in, you'll be met with some ads and an introduction to one of the mechanics in this exotic mission, and that is that we get to command a fire team of scions. When you see a rally flag circle, rather than a place to get ammo, this will be where you can summon an ally. For the first one, we summon a shielding scion, which will allow us to traverse through this pulsating radiation AoE area without taking any damage. You can also resummon the scion or return to them to refresh your shield. And it is actually quite cool because you get to see that scion bubble around you that's protecting you when you're in third person. But continuing through this area, you'll then be met with another summoning circle, this time for a Quicksilver scion. This scion doesn't do anything on its own, but he will try to dissolve a Siva wall that's blocking your path. To assist, you need to kill a nearby Minotaur that will drop a Radiolarian pool that gives you a buff at the top of your screen. Once the meter is full, you can then go over to the scion and help them bring the wall down. Getting through that will bring you into the first encounter of sorts. This is completed very straightforwardly. To begin, we're going to shoot one of 4 security nodes right above this war set thing in the middle of the room, and then you're going to slay out until you get another Minotaur to spawn and drop a buff pool. Once you get the buff there, the Quicksilver Scion will move to the back of the room and try to open a door. Help them and enter that room to find another security node. You don't need to kill anything to shoot it. Just do that, return to the middle room, get another Minotaur in full meter, and then just follow the Scion to the next door. Inside will be some more ads and a node. Just shoot the node and move back to the middle. Do this all one more time with the final door coming down and the final node being shot. Upon doing so, the middle platform under the first node we shot will drop down a bit, allowing you to progress. Down here is where the first traversal part starts, and there are a bunch of doors, and entering the wrong one in classic Destiny fashion will kill you. It'll shock you to death. To actually progress, follow what I do on screen. Drop down, then find this green terminal on one of the sides, which once activated, you can turn around and jump towards the corner to continue forth. You'll then find yourself in a narrow hallway with many of the same deadly doors. Take the path that I do on screen, jumping out pretty far and then into the right wall. You'll then enter this last door part way and take a hole on your left. This will then bring you to the introduction of the third and final scion. This is the Hacker Scion, and it essentially primes something for you to interact with. You'll need to call it to this computer, then you'll have to leave and go to the opposite side to execute a partner hack. Doing this will let you move into this big elevator room, and there's a couple things to do here. First is there's a place to call the Hacker Scion, and there will be one symbol showing on this lone monitor at the back of the room as a quote-unquote key, and then there will be 3 monitors that you can interact with. Interact with whatever matched the key, or you will spawn in some radiation and die. Success will begin to drop the elevator in the middle of the room, and I actually recommend not standing on it. The reason being, there are electric death barriers that you will quickly need to react to. In order to drop the barriers, you need to shoot an adjacent security node. This is done most easily by slowing yourself down with your double jumps while you're going down the ramp. But making it to the bottom of the elevator shaft, you'll then see this very cool set piece and where the second encounter takes place. You enter the main building you see, kill everything that spawns in front of you, and then once you're in, you'll be able to summon the Hacker Scion again. Just in front of the summoning circle, you'll notice that this main pillar has a bunch of computer screens on it. You want to pay attention to the 3 red symbols that appear, like the ones you've been seeing already. And what you're going to want to do is read them left to right. So in this case, we have 8 diamonds, 3 left arrows, and then X. What we do with this information is then proceed into the 3 connecting rooms, which each will have a place to call the scion. And then looking through the window, you will see 3 symbols in another room. 2 of these symbols will not be one of the ones we just read, but before entering that room and interacting with the matching one, you need to make sure that you are doing it in order of left to right. So first we find the room with 8 diamonds as the matching one, then we call the scion, break into that room through whatever vents are nearby. If you just break the vent and go forward, you'll get in easy enough. Inside, you interact with that specific matching symbol, and then once done, it should come up in the chat that it was successful. If it wasn't, then you'll get some ads to spawn. You'll then continue to the room housing the second correct symbol in the sequence and do the exact same thing. That means killing the scion, sneaking into the room, and interacting with that symbol. Then repeat all of that for the third and final room, which will spawn in a bunch of ads and a boss. Everything dies super quickly, and once you've cleared everything, you will get your first chest. But of course, that's not the end of the mission. To continue towards the end, interact with the green panel right next to you to begin the platforming section. This will activate 2 elevators, one outside to your left or right. You can take either up to the jump puzzle. Once up there, you'll see that it's actually pretty busy. There's some ads, there's the pulsating radiation from the beginning, and you can summon your shielding scion ally. But I'll be so real with you, you don't have to worry about anything here. Mountaintop, grapple, eager edge swords, Icarus dash, stompies, line rampants, whatever you have to get a little bit of movement makes this so easy. What you want to do is just keep moving towards the outer edge of the map where these glass hallways you can see are. When you reach the glass hallway, within there is a green terminal, similar to what you interacted with a moment ago, that you will need to activate. Doing so powers 1/2 of an elevator that we need to reach the final encounter. You can also go through this portal after activating that terminal to be brought back to the middle area. If your teammates haven't done the other side yet, just continue to the outer edges and find and activate that final terminal too, which when done will return you to the middle and let you enter the final elevator. This one will take you straight to the last encounter, which is completed very similarly to the very first one. Here though, to actually spawn the final boss, you will need a Minotaur to drop a buff, which you'll use to help the Quicksilver Scion go through 2 doors. Once inside one of the rooms, you'll clear up to the top and summon the Hacking Scion. You'll then return to the middle, do that to the other side, where you can then execute the Partner Hack. Upon doing that, one of the Cabal brothers from Destiny 1 will spawn in, and you'll be able to damage the first third of his health bar. Nothing in this room, boss included, isn't very dangerous. So upon getting that first phase down, our Scion allies will get imprisoned and can only be freed by defeating a Warden Wyvern. Simultaneously though, you're about to take radiation damage and our Shield Scion can't help until he's free. But once the Wyvern dies and you free them and either protect yourself or tank the radiation because it does barely any damage, you can then do the next third of the boss's health. Repeat that process, killing a Warden Wyvern again, and then you can kill the boss and finish the mission. And you do that by summoning our dudes around this Warsat, shooting it, and then pulling the Wolfsbane through time. This rewards you with the base version of the axe, but again, to be able to unlock its true power, you need to get the intrinsics and catalysts. So, to begin with the intrinsics that allow you to slot things like the unique handle perks, we need to destroy an amount of hidden Vex cubes that will be there during the mission if you have gotten the exotics. So, showcasing those now. The first will be after the first encounter, right when you drop down. It'll be here in the corner in an inactive shock chamber. Also, you do need to break these with Wolfsbane itself, and it also destroys it for your teammates, although there is some complication there and it seems to be a bug. We'll cover that in a moment. The second node is in the narrow jumping hallway all the way past the last door right here. And then the last is just next to that one, being the farthest down as soon as you get into the right wall. This is group number 1, and if you broke all 3, you should get 1 intrinsic, but right now that seems to be bugged, and for each of the 3 sets that we'll cover, you seem to just get a random amount. The next set are found within the jumping puzzle, with the first 2 Vex nodes being on the left section, oriented how you enter the room. Both of them are on the back sides of some free floating platforms. The first is pretty close to the beginning, seen here, and then the second is on a similar platform after the bridge. You can see me jumping to it here. And the third and final Vex node in this area is on the other half of the platform, so the right side. It's right above the summoning circle that you see, and whoever breaks this final node should receive their second intrinsic upgrade, but again, it just seems to be random. Remember, none of your teammates are going to get that. Now, with that said, there is one final set of nodes though, and that's in the final boss room. The first one can be found in the far corner as you come in. The second one is in the first unlocked room just behind where the actual hacking terminal is. And then the third and final is in the last unlocked room just to your left as you walk in. Whoever breaks this should receive the third intrinsic, assuming that you have the same person breaking all 3 sets. So again, this is definitely very bugged, and if you're running as a fire team of 3, chances are that you'll need to run this 3 separate times to get everyone upgraded. But with that said, that's all the locations of the secret Vex nodes and how you get a max level intrinsic Wolfsbane. This lets you change your blade perks, which you have 2 of, and your handle, which has some very interesting effects. Now, moving on from intrinsics, we have the big reveal, and that is to get this week's catalyst, which is Attrition Orbs Refit. What you need to do is launch the mission on Master or higher difficulty. When done, inside the first room, the very first room, you will find a little tablet thing, which you can pick up and turn around and insert it into this terminal right next to the Scion. This will give us some lore and dialogue, and then once you complete the mission, you'll be rewarded with the Attrition Orbs Refit. It's actually just that simple. And that's everything for this week. If this follows suit for other exotic missions and craftable exotics, then we'll be able to get more next week, so stay tuned for that. And with that, thank you for getting this far into the video. Your viewership means an absolute ton. I hope I was informative. I hope you can use this to get your friends an exotic or do whatever. Now, if you want to support me and support the channel, a like, a comment, a subscription goes a very long way. If you want to support me, support the channel, can't think of a comment, AU, because Wolfsbane or something like that. With that, as usual, I hope you are having a great day, and I hope to see you around.